Today is January 27th, 2024. A lot better. Yesterday evening, Walmart 62. I go in there. People are walking around. Karen's, well, nobody is this fucking stupid to actually fall for this. And, I mean, you got to think of the scenario. Nobody's this stupid. Then others walked up. They were all making fun of her for an occult leader and a stripper. Well, the cult leader has been dead for over a year. I told you, the scenario of that agent falling for it, it sounds like a bad joke. It sounds like a really bad joke. Like two rabbis and a minister walks into a bar and they sit down next to a drug cartel guy, and then there's a plot. You know what I mean? But my bad joke is a husband trying to kill his wife walks into an FBI agent's office with a stripper / prostitute girlfriend, part of the drug cartel, her drug cartel dad, an occult leader, and a drug cartel guy impersonating a doctor selling people's information. And with the sextortion scheme of being roofied and told to say stuff, and Photoshop of washing. And the agent fell for it. Nobody's that fucking stupid. Nobody is this fucking stupid. I talked to Officer Reinhardt at Louisville. He started giggling like a little girl, crossed his arms. See, they would never get away with this in the Louisville police, the Massillon police, Portage County Sheriffs, the Stark County Sheriffs, the Ravenna police. Why? Because, like Officer Reinhardt said, I don't care what they got. I don't care what they say they did. Until that agent agreed to protect you, they couldn't be in your home. Even the FBI couldn't be in your home. They can't even look on us, and it's illegal to. Nobody had a right in your home until that agent agreed to protect you and had statements of the threat of life. They would even go to jail. And it wouldn't even matter if they had something on somebody. Nobody could look at it. I've talked to other police, same thing, looked it up. It's the Fourth Amendment in the Constitution. So that agent's going to say he was playing the prostitute, because there's a point in time. You have to either show ID when you walk in those offices, or with face rec, they know who they're talking to. They know who they're talking to. There's no way that they didn't know that Michelle was a stripper prostitute for the drug cartel. They didn't know that Pete was part of the drug cartel. That there's no way that he didn't know if a real doctor's out there sharing people's information, selling it, let alone with occults and drug cartels, that he was to arrest them for the right to privacy and HIPAA violations of selling people's personal information and sharing it. He wouldn't even be allowed to talk to him. And he would have had to known that guy was a drug cartel guy scamming him. And he was to arrest him for impersonating a doctor. Because what they're saying is that agent's so stupid that a stripper, prostitute, an occult leader, and her drug cartel dad and another drug cartel guy fooled an FBI agent in a drug scam. Of them roofing me, lying that they had sodium pentothal reports, and he fell for roofie confessions and photoshopping and washing in a sextortion scheme done by the drug cartel. As a drug scam? And a man impersonating a doctor selling people's personal information? And that an agent is that gullible? Like they said, nobody's actually that fucking stupid. Oh, come on. You're going to jail either way. See what I mean? Exactly. Nobody's that fucking stupid. Like they said, December 31st, 23. Some guy was impersonating a doctor from Altman Hospital selling information. Nurses were talking about outside my client's room in the emergency room. No one's to ever even back what those other doctors even said about her before. They were all lying. My God, they even said she had brain tumors and she did. They were all lying to rip off her insurance company. No one's to ever back one thing those doctors said. Huh? And they were just ripping off her insurance company. And them saying that some doctor from Altman Hospitals selling people's information. The hospital could get sued. Or it could get shut down. The state would shut them down. You do realize that. The state would shut them down. Would shut them down. And then find out the lawsuit. Because real doctors cannot even talk to the police or agents about you. Because of HIPAA violations. They're there to help only you. They are not to be out there sharing your information, let alone you get a bunch of crackpots falsely diagnosing you, ripping off your insurance, giving you wrong the meds, and you swell up like a balloon, almost die. You don't ever back fraud. You don't ever back fraud. I've met so many people that have went to wrong doctors, and that happened. I know somebody who's on oxygen because their lungs got burned from the wrong meds. My one neighbor, even Keith, went to a hospital, and he said, there's something really wrong with me. They told him he had gout. Sent him home. He goes back. He said, there's something really wrong with me. They told him there's nothing wrong with him. Sent him home. 2 more times. Third time he goes in there, he said, there's something really wrong with me. The doctor actually listened to him. Did a bunch of tests. He had a blood clot. It was days from moving into a major artery, and he would have been dead within 3 days. See what I mean by good and bad doctors? Gout and a blood clot. Big difference. Except for these people were getting kickbacks from the drug companies. It's called overcare. Doing unnecessary procedures, writing out big prescriptions, getting kickbacks from the drug companies from $200 to $1,000 per bad prescription, and sharing it with their associates. I mean, basically ripping checking account of insurance money, just emptying it. It's called overcare. It happens all the time. It's still happening 20 years later. Only thing was wrong with me is my muscles locked up and they made me so sick I swelled from my feet to my brain. My heart cut off, my thyroid quit working, my adrenal gland quit working. And I almost died. My brain was even swelling. They lied I had brain tumors and all kinds of stuff. There was nothing wrong with me, but my muscles locked up from 6 to 7, 10 surgery back to back. And I couldn't get them to relax. What I needed was muscle relaxers, pain medicine, and physical therapy. Yeah, that was the only thing wrong with me. They all lied. And it took another doctor to tell on them. It me 9 months to learn to walk again. I could walk before I went to those doctors. I couldn't walk a year later. Think of that. It almost killed me. And no, like they said, no one's to back that. They could get sued. They could get shut down. And that agent would know any rogue doctor out there sharing your information with the cults and drug cartels and other people. He was to arrest him. HIPAA violations, right to privacy. And he couldn't even talk to him, according to his license, and he was to arrest him. And any man impersonating a doctor selling information, he was to arrest him. Nobody's so stupid. Let alone and there's no way that he didn't know that Pete and Michelle were a part of the drug cartel, and she was some kind of stripper. And he didn't know that other guy wasn't a drug cartel guy. Walking in, he should have looked at Dave and Harold Strange and said, Who do you think I am? Who do you think you are? Bringing these drug cartel people in a stripper. That you've been stalking your wife, drugging her up, and you probably photoshopped that. And I can't even look at it. And there's no doctor allowed to sell somebody's information. That's some scammer. And I'll find out who you are. You're some kind of drug cartel person. And look at that minister and say, shame on you for even being part of this. You think I'm stupid? And look at Dave and say, you think you can bring your stripper prostitute girl with a rap sheet and her dad that you got been drugging your wife up and photoshopping her in a sextortion scheme? You think I'm going to fall for it? Bring some guy impersonating a doctor with fake information? I'd have to arrest him if he's out selling somebody's information. And I have to arrest him because he's impersonating a doctor selling people's information. Nobody's as stupid. How stupid do you think I am? And sodium pentothal reports? Are you freaking kidding me? See what I mean? And it's just about as sick as the Vegas. You want to kill her because your father ran a stop sign and he said she was faking? You're just picking out somebody to kill. Because you want to kill somebody. I'm not this stupid. Nobody's this stupid. He opened a real account with money, and he stole my money. And he let thousands die, and he let me get raped and tortured, human trafficked, publicly humiliated, bashed and skull and almost murdered several times and stalked. I lived through a hot life of horror. I'll tell you what, this group in Hartville that got arrested for human trafficking, those were part of the people that were harassing me. Like they said in Hartville, Giant Eagle, we all seen them in here. Harassing her. Mm-hmm. They got arrested for human trafficking. There's a creeper out in the mall. Looks real familiar, even though he had a hat and things on. That's what they did in 18. They told people they were human trafficking. They said there was a doctor wanting special orders. 5'3", 135 blonde girl. Wanted to know how much I weighed. Wanted to know if I had a bad habit. They were relocating people to Florida. Bringing up mall that they were human traffickers. People in Belgium were calling them effing child molesters. Okay. They're calling them that to their face. In the beginning of the case in 18, they came up and said in front of the cops in Belgium, they were a group of traveling families that traveled the United States. That's how they describe themselves in front of the cops. They were a group of families traveling the United States. Okay. I didn't know they were human traffickers at that point. But they said they were in the mall. They called them, people in the mall were calling them effing child molesters, effing this, effing that. And they would swear at them. And they would flat out tell people they were and they would swear at them. They're like, it's nothing but fucking child molesters doing this to her. Yeah. Serial killers. That's what Michelle and Pete was. A guy impersonating a doctor. They've been selling women and children for sex license to be murdered. I had over 200 around me. I'm an FBI informant. That agent stole my money, opened up an account, and left me up there to die. I'm going to upload this. But yeah, they describe themselves as traveling families that travel the United States. They even offered to take me. I just looked at them. I'm not going with anybody. I didn't know they were human traffickers. They would have just sold me. But yeah, you guys gotta start thinking about this. How not funny this is. Like they set up in Hartville and Giant Eagle, we all seen those people in here harassing her. They got arrested for human trafficking, selling people that they were grabbing here. A group of them. A lot more of them got arrested and they got caught on police surveillance. Because are you interested in working Karen around the house? What's that? One of us have to watch or listen to her every day. Like I go in places that someone the police watch. We all know that. It's like they set up in Hartville. It's a nationwide human trafficking scam, her case. We all know that. I was almost murdered. I had to earn that money. I don't think Will should steal from rape victims and human trafficking victims. You know what some guy said? She got his name wrong, so people won't talk to her there. You know what? I worked in a bank. People call in, got people's name wrong all the time. So-and-so of my account. Well, we don't got somebody here who named that. Let me have your social. I'll find out who did it. And as soon as I put your social in, everybody I ever talked to you. Oh, it's this person. Oh, yeah. Because you know why? People will go through a lot. People have their own lives. People's names are trivial. And your social, you can find anybody and everyone that ever talked to you. In databases. See, that's where some guy said that he'd like to expose all the corruption that's down here. That they let all this happen. They should have stopped this and they should have arrested him. And the sheriffs and marshals have been blowing the hell out of it. But I'll tell you what, I had over 200 around me the first few months. And they were packed in the mall all around me. And they worked for Dave. And like they said, they didn't even care about Dave. Michelle didn't even care about Dave. Nobody did. They wanted him to believe that they cared, so that they get away with this pawn of human trafficking. They wanted to get rid of away with this pawn, so they made him believe they cared. She never even cared about him. Because why would an 18-year-old stripper prostitute care about Dave? Because she needs to take care of this pawn for her drug cartel. She has sex with men all night long. Why would she care about Dave? She never cared about him. Ever. None of these people cared if Dave got anything. They didn't care about the cult. They just cared about selling people and drug trading. And to run this big scam. That's it. It was all for the scam. December 21st, 23, Walmart 62. The whole thing. It's been those two drug lords fighting over this area. Using her as a pawn. They're not even mad at her. She didn't know why people were saying and hurting her. And saying things to her. And those drug dealers were just fighting over this area and using her as a pawn and made all that stuff up on her. And they said they came back and killed Dave. Because their men went to jail. Walmart 62. I'm going to upload this.